ASHA file that here.
There is a problem of jurisdiction. Like for example, if he's an author, he goes registered.
Will ask money. Basically, this breeds corruption and nothing else.
What about unorganized sector?
Yeah, it looks like it.
Yeah.
So I think for groups, a choice that needs to be made, and this is something that we discuss when it comes to IPR enforcement in seed and so on. One way of defying such laws without actually fighting them in courts of law is to not comply. And if hundreds and thousands of people do that, that itself is a statement.
And not register also, because
that's
a trick.
That is the defiance.
Once you register, they have you nailed.
No, that is the defiance, that you don't comply at all.
Yeah, but the problem here is that the number of people around our circles are doing the registration, and there is where the whole problem. So one of these set of people, Keystone Foundation, they went ahead to do the registration, and they got stuck up in a very funny sort of issues. So they have all this honey and ghee and products like these which they're getting from tribal areas and all. Now the food inspector, he doesn't know anything about the laws himself, and he said ki nahi, isme ag mark ka thappa kidhar hai. And he's just not ready to listen that ag mark is a voluntary thing. You don't have to necessarily need to have an ag mark stamp to be able to sell agro-food produce. Then they had to explain ki look, ag mark, then he said nahi, law la ke dikhao. So you have to get all the laws for him, show him that, you know, look, we have complied and there's nutritional analysis and all this, and hence ag mark is not required. So another thing which I have understood is that the day you get the license, you are open for inspection. And everything in your supply chain, if it is not FSSAI licensed, you probably can't sell it from your shop also.
And those of you working with the groups, you have a problem if you are processing food.
A defiance kind of approach here may not successfully take this forward, because there is a larger crowd. You see, you look at the big retail people, they are the ones who are going to run this. Then look at the smaller retail people who are in this consuming, in Kerala we call the Vyapari Vyavasai Sangam and all that. They are already organized. So they will obviously go and register. All these bakers, etc., flour fellows are all going to register. The ones that are going to be left out is the small kirana people like us who are, or the modern retail people like us, the small modern retail people, or the ones in the roads and all that who are going to be completely, you know, and they're not organized. Now, so this needs a bottom line thing. I think we should work on finding out what could be a bottom line thing, like the 12 lakhs and all that. Can we say anything less than, now it's going to exclude a lot of people, include a lot of people, but something like 10 crore rupee business, above, below, some criteria we have to develop so that we can put in the demand. One. The second thing is, when I was listening to you, I did not read the FSSAI new ones and all that. Earlier I was sort of following it. I'm listening to what you're trying to say. It looks like it's easier to register and license and use pesticides more easier than organic or any other food. See, for pesticides, for pesticides, as per the Insecticides Act, it's actually easier to get a registration and licensing than food now in the country.
I think they have residue limits even for pesticides and all those things.
Take my point.
They have reached the regulatory
It's easier to
system
sell poison than
poisons like pesticides.
Yeah.
It's easier to go through that regulation
So I think we should have this is a campaign point where food in the country is going to be so so heavily regulated, whereas poisons in the country is not at all regulated. So I think we'll have to put a comparative and go on a campaign on
that. Legal recourse. For example, there are a lot of cases filed, some 3 or 4 cases that they lost. I don't know. Rajesh, do you have an idea what are the cases they lost? They lost. FSSAI lost. There are some by the industry, some by other individuals. We don't. But we don't really proceed in that angle also.
There seems to be a political battle required.
Yes.
Probably some legal options. But more importantly, it requires people like Verlayan, for instance. What are they doing in Tamil Nadu? The Traders Association president. We should find out from them. We have the other retail association people in Delhi.
No, farming is not considered a part. Farming is not considered a part of a FBO. It is manufacture. So it is starting from so to say industry-based value addition and so on and so forth.
Can I play devil's advocate? In a country where 90% employment is informal, 70% food processing industry in the micro, small, medium and unregistered sector, Are we saying we don't need regulation for food?
No, that.
No. So,
I'll be very clear.
let's say that we need regulation in this country.
Yes.
What kind of regulation we?
Correct.
On that we will differ.
Correct.
So I think let's not throw the baby with the bathwater.
Yeah. Correct.
We need food safety regulation. We need regulation of different kind of players.
Correct.
Also, let's not tie everybody in one rope. If traditionally you have understood Indian business lobby, there are three. There is ASHA, multinational driven. There is CII, and there is FICCI, and there are others that are PhD and so on. So they represent different levels of industry interest. If FICCI has given this, it's certainly not Walmart driven. Okay?
It is actually.
Let me ask, if 95% of retail still, food retail is still in the informal sector, do we leave it like it is? Or do we need regulation? So I think we need to ask this hard question. I am not against saying that it should be more reasonable.
We need food.
I will supplement with what Professor Suppal is. I am not against doing this process of registration, licensing, etc. But what I still think is that this law itself is very incomplete. It doesn't encompass all the very ideas and ideals that all of us strive for. Maybe to some degree we are also responsible for it, because when the law was coming out, none of us said anything.
The organic food standard document which I commented on itself is 113 pages long. 113 pages. I have a copy here.
Yeah.
So we need to look at those things and then get back saying what is wrong, what is right in that.
No, we should pick up particular clauses that we are particularly uncomfortable with and make them as the basis for which we fight this kind of regulation. We have to break for lunch now.
Deadline has been extended by 6 months.
By 6 months.
Okay.
Okay, deadline has been extended by 6
That's
months.
good news.
There's Ashish Gupta and myself who are volunteering to put together something. He's done more work that I haven't even looked at it. Ramu is also there. Is there anyone else who wants to? Sridhar, okay. Are there any, Suppalji, will you help us with that draft? Okay.